Good afternoon, Colorado. That was Get After Life. Graham Good in the Painters. This is Josh with K4CO Radio. And thanks for listening. It's our second year anniversary here, our second birthday. We're into the terrible twos now, which is wonderful. So we have some great interviews. We actually had a wonderful one earlier today at 1 p.m. And now we have another one. And we are here to officially answer who let the dogs out.
Wow. How long have you been ready for that?
I thought about it about 20 minutes ago.
It's nice. You know, it's really cool. It has been, happy second birthday.
Yeah.
Huge thank you to all of our Colorado musicians, our partners, our community. We couldn't have done this without you. It has been an eventful 2 years for sure. Super fun one. And it has been a great day. We had Christine here earlier talking about horses. And now we have a lovely gal who's going to talk to you predominantly about dogs, but lots of different animals coming your way. So thank you if you are listening on the app. Thank you for tuning in. If you're driving, please continue. Just let that person over. Just wave and it'll all be great.
And smile.
And smile. You know what? You never know what day they're having. But if
they cut you off, give them a thumbs up.
It's true, as opposed to
the other one,
other things, or just let them go. You know, let there be some peace. Yes, peace and love
and carrots.
If you would like to see our beautiful faces, you can do so on social media, and we encourage comments and questions, of course, because we are going to be talking about pet training, pet care, and more than half of everyone here living in Colorado owns a pet, so you are going to fall into this.
That is right.
So definitely, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and or YouTube, and so you can tune in.
Just go to one of them, type K4CO Radio, and boom. There's not a lot of K4CO radios out there. I think
we're the only one.
Yeah, so it's easy to find us.
It is very easy.
It is.
We're all over.
We are.
We're omnipresent.
That's right.
Okay, without further ado, this one's super special to me too, but we're going to get into it. Okay.
It is.
We have Shay here with us. Hi.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So Shay is the owner of Care for Pawz, and I'm going to be spelling this out a little bit so you can go on her website, which is Care for F-U-R Pawz, Pawz.com. And I know in the ticker tape below, but in case you are listening, if you want to text or call her with questions, 720-500-7299. And she is a dog trainer, full pet care service, exotic animals, dogs, cats, you name it. She can come care for your animals.
And before we get to it, how'd you come up with the name?
Well, when I started my business, I wanted it to be geared towards like pet sitting and dog walking services. So I thought, pet care, and caring for those paws. Now in hindsight, it probably sounds like I do grooming or something, but no, it was something where I just kind of was looking at what's available out there, because that's one thing you got to do when you're starting your LLC, so you're not taking another business's name. And there's another company in England that had a very similar name, so that's why the spelling is the way that it was. But and it's just cute and fun, so I like it. Not so serious and more on the positive side. So
no pun intended.
Positive, didn't. And when did you start Care for Pawz?
I started in May 2022. So it's been about 3.5 years now.
Okay. You've come a long way. Wow. I mean, I didn't realize, you have a full team and training, and we'll get into even unpack your future, what holds in more training, which is super cool. So a couple years.
Yeah.
And where are you located? So for those, because you do have certain service areas. So why don't you tell our listeners where you're at?
Yeah. So we're based out of Aurora, but we have a 15-mile radius from Aurora. So it's going to be Parker, Highlands Ranch, Lone Tree, Centennial, Inglewood, Greenwood Village, and Aurora. We don't go into Denver. We don't do Castle Rock, Castle Pines. The farthest south that we're going to go is the Pinery. So,
if you would go into a little bit. So I was in this industry for 11 years. I absolutely loved it. It was so fun. You get to be greeted by wagging tails all the time. It's just so awesome.
It's hard not to be stressed out when you're doing this job. It's a fun job.
Right. And there are a lot of different services that you offer. So do you want to go into even and dog walking, if you wanted to elaborate a little bit?
Yeah.
overnights, etc.?
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, pet sitting, dog walking, and dog training are our 3 services that we offer. Pet sitting is going to be a range of, if we do the drop-in visit, which can be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, almost overnights, which is it's like overnights, but without somebody staying in your home. So I tell a lot of people if they want kind of a more budget-friendly option, or their pets don't need somebody in the home because maybe their dog sleeps in a kennel overnight, or they just have cats but they're super social and they want them to have like the same amount of time of what an overnight would look like, that's going to be a 2-hour bedtime visit, and then we leave for the night and come back in the morning for an hour. And then we also offer 10-hour overnight stays. So on the flip side, if somebody wants the person to be in their home staying there overnight, we can. And then we do bundle deals. So if they want to do like an almost overnight with a 1-hour afternoon visit, or an overnight with a 1-hour afternoon visit, you can get that bundle offer and save some money there. And then dog walking is going to be more of that. Well, it can be recurring or one time. If people just need us here or there, and maybe they're taking like a mountain trip somewhere and they just need an afternoon visit to let their dog out. Like snowboarding season is coming up, so if people are going to be going to the mountains and need help with that, that's what we can do there. But yeah, that can be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. And if you book us on a recurring basis 2 or more times a week, then you get a discount off of those walks each week. So yeah, that's going to be more of our pet sitting and dog walking. And then dog training is all one-on-one in the client's home. So I travel to the pet parent and their dogs and work with them either individually or with the whole family. If it's a family dynamic, I do like it when we can get the family involved in a couple of those lessons so everybody's on the same page. We have different packages for like puppies, adolescent dogs. If a dog is working on, advanced skills because they already have their basics done, we can just jump right into that if they've done, training somewhere else before. And then behavior modification. So if we're working with dogs who have behavior issues, they're reactive with other dogs, maybe they've bitten a person or bitten another dog before, or they're having issues with kids in the home. Another thing that I offer is cooperative care training. So I'm fear-free certified, and part of that is working with veterinarians, groomers, to basically get the dog to be cooperative with the care they're going to be receiving. So if that's nail trims, ear cleaning, vaccines, pill taking, we can actually train the dog to be okay with that stuff. Like if you need to give him a pill, we can train the dog to actually open its mouth. So you can put the pill in, you're not just having to, put it in their throat. Obviously I go for like, put it in a piece of cheese or something first.
Yes.
See if we can do it that way. But, if the vet has to do things that maybe the dog isn't comfortable with, we want them to at least they don't have to love it, but they got to tolerate it and be cooperative with it. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And to stick on the training side of things, I went through actually the same schooling that you did, Animal Behavior College. Loved it. It was a great program. And you're also a positive reinforcement trainer.
Yes.
And for those that maybe don't know, it might be a little self-explanatory, but I found it wasn't always. So why don't you explain a little bit what that is?
Yeah, definitely. So there's 3 types of training out there if you want to categorize it, different training styles. So you have like your aversive training where it's more like negative reinforcement and punishment based, and using more force. And then there's balanced, which is a mix between the training that I do and the aversive, and they kind of meet in the middle. And then positive reinforcement is going to be fully positive and force free, which the way that I look at it is making it to where the dog wants to do these things, and it's a fun thing for them, and they're getting rewarded for doing the things. And then instead of using like punishment or force, whatever, if it's your attention that they want and they're jumping up on you for that, pushing them down or yelling at them, you're still giving them attention. Negative attention is better than no attention for a dog. So what are things that we can do to not necessarily I don't want to say correct the behavior, but redirect the behavior and teach them the right thing to do instead without being forceful and damaging that relationship. So positive reinforcement is just making sure that, it's fun. It's a fun thing the dog wants to learn, and it's geared towards really strengthening that human canine bond. And it is something that I think is newer. Fear Free, that's an organization that came out in 2015. So I think now, times are kind of changing. We're starting to understand dog psychology, how dogs learn, the best ways to work with them. That's going to be more successful in the long run. And I truly believe that is positive reinforcement and fear-free training.
I agree. To me, it was always about respect and having that relationship. I mean, and we talked off air, and I agree, in a partnership, whether it be a marriage or a mother-daughter, etc. I mean, if you're screaming at each other all the time, it's probably not the healthiest. And so it's the same thing with our dogs, I think, or I shouldn't just say dogs, but our cats and our animals, and they pick up on that way faster than I think we as humans give them credit for.
Yeah.
I mean, for those that own dogs and cats, and likewise, sorry, I'm more of a dog person, I'm sorry. But they know how we're feeling before sometimes we know. I mean, they can detect cancer and sickness in people. And, in an avalanche, they can smell a human that's been buried under, tons of snow. So they're very intuitive and emotionally driven. I mean, they can read your face in a moment of seconds and understand what's going on internally. So I also just was positive reinforcement. So I love that you're gearing towards that.
Yeah. And I think, it's better. Are you going to use pain, fear, and intimidation to train a dog? Or are we going to turn it into a fun thing in a game where the dog does want to work for you? Or I don't even want to say work for you, because it is, it's a partnership. So work with you. I like the way of putting that. So and it, I think when you start to use pain, fear, intimidation to train a dog, like, it may work for a short amount of time, but dogs, they are smarter than what we give them credit for. So they're going to find other ways to get what they want out of that instead. And maybe they start ignoring that, or, at the end of the day, that can make other behaviors come up that weren't there because they're starting to get restless and other things come out. So it's a lot more than just positive reinforcement. Like, we need to look at the overall well-being of the dog. Are they getting enough enrichment? Are they getting enough exercise? Are they all good health-wise? Is there some underlying pain that we don't know? And that's why some of this aggression is coming out, or this reactivity, because they're uncomfortable with them being touched in a certain area, or they're just feeling some pain. So there's more to it, and I think instead of jumping right to like using aversive tools or corrective methods, we need to make sure the dog is all good first.
Completely. I was just having this conversation with Josh, I think earlier this week, is sometimes owners, because we see them all the time, the owners see their dogs all of the time, and sometimes they miss something. And so when you're there once a day, you're like, oh, hey, I'm looking at their stool, and it looks a little bit different today. They would have never noticed it, and so we can catch things like that, and doing the body checks a lot, too, to see if they're in pain or they're uncomfortable, because a lot of times they will mask it in different ways and become aggressive, and especially if behavior all of a sudden changes. Hey, my dog is now peeing inside, and it's never happened before. I'm like, okay, has the diet changed? Has the exercise changed? Did you just move? Is someone new in the house, or is someone left the house? And so there's all of these things to consider that can make that we as humans maybe overlook, and a dog they feel it, and it comes out very differently because, of course, they aren't verbal. So it's important for the trainer on your side to be in tune to all of these cues.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why dog trainers exist, why there's dog training professionals out there, because we're nerds in this industry. Like, we do all the research, coming out. And we look at all of this stuff like we do the research, and we take on this, take all of that in a lot more, and it's something that maybe other people just overlook. So it's like having somebody in your corner and in the dog's corner and the cat's corner to advocate for them and explain like, okay, this is actually why this is happening, or this may be the reason why it's happening. And it's something that, you know, they probably have never thought about before. And now it gives us like somewhere new to start instead of just saying like, oh, my dog is stubborn.
Right. It's a second pair of eyes, right? Yeah. And I wanted to make sure, because this is super important from one ex-trainer. I don't train anymore, so I'm an ex-trainer now. That you are bonded and insured.
Yep.
So what does that mean so people can understand that?
Yeah, I mean, so insurance, both for like the business protecting you and your clients, their, you know, their households, like because there's training and then, you know, the pet sitting side of it. So making sure that everything is protected on both ends. So that way, if anything does happen, the company, if it's something that's with the company's fault, they're going to handle that stuff, and it's not directly out of the client's pocket if it's something that doesn't need to be. Bonded is going to be more towards like, you know, and this is kind of gearing more towards like the pet sitting and dog training and people being in their homes. But why I think it's important to be bonded and when you're in this industry is if you're going to send, you know, either you go into the home yourself or you send an employee into the home and say they steal something or damage something, that will cover both the company and the client as well. So just extra protection and making sure you're working with like a professional company that has all those bases
I think
covered.
it makes you all stand out completely to make you not only more unique but more trustworthy to say, hey, I've screened everyone. We know who's going into your home.
Yeah.
Because it is, you know, you're going in and caring for their heartbeat. So that was always, I actually did that before I even got my LLC. I'm like, I have to make sure I'm bonded and insured. And what does this mean? So
Yeah.
And you're also CPR certified as well.
Yep. Pet first aid and CPR certified. Myself and all of my employees are. So before I even offer them the job, that's part of the requirement. So if they don't have that, they need to undergo the training. And then once they get the training, then I'll actually offer them the job. And that pet first aid and CPR training comes after like the background check and everything. So, you know, I make sure all of that's covered too. But, yeah, that's just a requirement of the job. We need to be prepared for anything to come up. And, you know, it's the other side of having like a professional that knows what they're doing if an emergency were to arise and how to handle, you know, if the pet gets injured or if they're having a medical emergency and what they need to do, what steps they need to take. If they need to do CPR, you know, we can administer that.
It's a real thing. I was so glad not only as an owner, but as a trainer to know how to do that. It's interesting if you have a child or an adult that needs CPR, we all hopefully kind of know to do the compressions on the chest and then breathe into the mouth. Whole nother kettle of fish when it comes to dogs.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are out. We're in Colorado. What do you do if your dog gets bit by a snake? There is a certain protocol of what to do. There are certain vets out there that will only carry serum for that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. So please, if you have a dog, double check with your vet. Hey, in case, especially if you're out in the wilderness, like this stuff happens all the time, what to have as backups. You know, I always have an extra blanket or a towel because if a dog gets hurt. And CPR is a real thing, and you do it on different areas depending on the size of your dog.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is really cool, and I hope every owner maybe does a course like this.
Yeah, I
so
recommend the Pet Pro or Pro Pet Hero. Red Cross is another one where you can get certified, but I really like Pro Pet Hero because they have videos that actually show you what to do. They have like live animals that they do it on. I mean, they're not doing CPR on a live animal that doesn't need it,
Right.
but they kind of like show you the positions and where to do things. So I found those really, really helpful because I'm a very visual learner. So being able to actually see what to do in those situations was really helpful. And it's like $50 to get that.
It's
course.
so worth it. For all of you that have children, do you know how to do CPR? Like it's kind of the same thing. It's another heartbeat. My dog choked when he was little, and I wouldn't have known what to do had I not gone through this. So I mean, it's very valuable.
Yeah.
Josh, I'm sorry. I'm so geeking out here. Can you tell you're the first dog trainer that we've had on. I'm like, oh my
Yes,
God,
you are.
it's one of my people.
I love it.
I'm going to reintroduce her, and then you can so fire away. I love this world. So for those of you just joining, we're, of course, in the dog animal world. If you need a pet care provider or a trainer, please reach out to Shay. She's the owner of Care for Pawz. Again, you can go to her website, carefur, F-U-R, Pawz, Pawz.com, and text or call 720-500-7299 or email info@carefurpawz.com. Okay, now you go. I'll stop geeking out on all the cool dog stuff.
I swear, when you get dog trainers or like pet care professionals together, they can talk for like 7 hours.
Yeah, same with groomers. I mean, we're just nutty. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay. Josh, what do you have?
I'm kind of curious. So you do positive reinforcement, and positive reinforcement has just been kind of a thing lately. I mean, when it comes to anybody, I mean, when it comes to humans. So I'm curious. So for example, a little dog that just keeps jumping on somebody's legs, stuff like that. It's kind of, in my mind, I'm not a pet person and I'm not a father either, but it's kind of like, hey, don't touch the stove. No, really firm and everything like that. So, I mean, how can you positively train a dog to not do something like this?
Yeah, well, I mean, going back, a lot of people tell their dogs no, but what does no mean? Like, does no mean get off? Does no mean down? Does no mean
it just means stop doing what you're doing, I would think.
Yeah, but how are they going to connect that with actually not jumping up? Because once the dog jumps up on the person, it's too late. They already got their paws on you, so you want to be proactive in these situations. And there's a lot of things that you can do instead of just telling your dog to get down. Like, there's ways that you can set it up, like, having the excuse me, having the leash on the dog's harness, and you can open up, if you have a big dog, use a sturdy door, but put the leash on the opposite side of the door, close the door, back away from your dog, and then when you approach your dog, if your dog tries to jump on you, the door's holding them back so they can't get to you. So you're going to back up again, approach your dog again. See, once they offer a sit, that's what you want to praise, and that's what they're going to get attention for. So, and you can do this with a baby gate. If it's like, puppies, they're always going to be jumping up on the baby gate. So you can have them behind the baby gate. It's going to be the same method. You're going to back up, approach, and you want to reward the right behavior. So, you can tell your dog down, you can tell your dog off, but what are they learning out of that? So we want to make sure that we're also teaching them the right behavior to offer, which would be that calm sit or just keeping all fours on the floor. I go over 6 basic cues with every dog when I start training them, and then those cues we can build on it when we're starting to work on the jumping. So, when you have guests over, I think it's really important that you do have the dog on a leash if the dog is going to try jumping, because the person's, the guests that you have come over, they're not going to know what to do. And if they do, awesome. That's a win. But
no one
they're
knows
not going
what
to
do.
know. Unless it's another trainer walking into your house, they're not going to know. Well, so you can help. The leash is going to help you have control over that situation.
And that's what I love how you mentioned earlier about the whole family, get the family involved, because I remember talking with you, sir, a little while ago where you said actually and tell me if you agree with this, one of the hardest things to do is consistency with the owners, consistency with the family, because then it just gets the dogs confused or the pets confused.
Yeah. And I think that, one, it confuses them. 2, if there's one person doing the training with the dog the whole time, the dog's going to listen to that one person really, really well. And then dogs are super smart. So they're going to learn who they can and can't do things with.
Kind of like a little kid. I know I can get mom to do this, dad to do this.
Yeah, definitely. So it's, your dog is going to go along or come along with the training, get a lot farther in the training faster if everybody's consistent and it's and they're on the same page with what they need to do. If mom is doing one thing but dad is doing another, then what exactly is the dog supposed to be doing? So getting the family involved, and if there's young kids involved, there's a way to make the training fun for the kids too, because you need to be consistent. You need to have really, really good timing. So sometimes kids struggle with that, but there's fun things that you can do to build that relationship between the dogs and the kids, so that way they don't just look at the kid like they're a play toy that they can just run all over, jump on, wrestle with, because we need to have that same kind of respect between the dogs and the kids too.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. And when it comes to positive, I mean, does this include like dog whistles?
Do you mean like clicker training?
Well,
I remember when I was a kid, we had golden retrievers, and it was just like a dog whistle, but it was an electronic dog whistle where you press the button, and dogs can hear that high pitched kind of like thing that they don't really like.
They don't really like it.
Yeah,
It actually kind of hurts their ears.
Dogs they have really, really, really strong hearing.
Right.
So obviously, like, yes, those work, but it bothers and it irritates the dogs, and if you're doing it really, really close to them, you can actually damage their eardrums. And you mentioned clicker training, and I rather go that route with clicker training, because there's been a lot of research out there that clicker training has improved the response time with dogs and how they listen.
What is clicker training?
So have you seen the clickers that you can with a dog or a cat? Think of one of those Snapple bottle caps that you can play with.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like. And it's not too high pitched, so it's not going to hurt the dog's ear, and you can mark it's called a reward marker, where you're marking the correct behavior. So I don't use clickers in my training because I've noticed people have a really hard time. That's like another obstacle that
you
I
always
see.
And you always have to have it with you.
Yeah,
and
I don't like people having to
Or you just
manage
go to a
that.
gas station and buy a Snapple.
You can do that. You can, or you can just use your tongue and go.
There you
Or
go.
I say the word yes when I'm doing it. So if a dog sits, yes.
Or C if you're working with a Chihuahua. Yeah.
Or what?
C if you're working with a Chihuahua.
Oh my gosh, ignore him.
All right. Say whatever you want as long as you're consistent, and if that's your reward marker, that's your reward. Oh wow, I just got it. That went over my head for a hot minute, and then it just clicked.
Like a poodle, you would say "we."
Exactly.
If you use it, it works.
Exactly.
Yep.
Consistency is amazing.
Yeah, you can teach a dog how to sit when you say pumpkin, if that's the word that you
might,
use all the time.
Might as well.
Why not? But I was doing it with my own dog, and he knows hand signals really well. So I was telling my husband, I'm like, I bet you I can get Nash to sit when I say pumpkin. And I went up to him and I did the hand signal, closed fist for sit, but I was like, pumpkin, and he sat down, and I was like, it's because he knows his hand signals really, really well. So,
Right.
and I've been really consistent with all of that stuff. So yeah, consistency is the biggest thing. Clickers, I would prefer that over, a whistle, because, what does the whistle mean? Does the whistle mean come here? What is the meaning of the whistle? So a clicker is just a really short, yes, good job, you did what you needed to do, and then they get a treat after that. So that way we can wean the dog off of treats. Your dog does not need to have treats all the time to do everything, and a lot of people use treats all the time, so then the dog gets stuck on that. So then if you don't have treats, they're not going to listen to you. So it's really important to, fade that out quicker rather than later, and use it more intermittently, where sometimes they're going to get a treat, sometimes they're not. But if you hear the word yes, or you hear a click, something's coming, and that was a good behavior that you did. And then maybe they get something, maybe they don't, maybe they get a booty scratch, maybe they get an ear rub. It doesn't have to be a treat. If you're teaching a dog to sit and wait at a door, the reward is the door opens and they get to go outside.
Well, and exactly, and I think training basically is all day, every day. That's a lot of treats.
Well, exactly. Then you
Dogs are gonna get a little,
then you get into other
big.
health problems.
Yeah.
And I agree. I did hand signals too, because your body is always with you when you're walking and training. So you can't, in a lot of situations, you don't have a clicker, or you don't have treats.
Yeah.
And I agree. If you do become, it's like a child that's always getting rewarded with a cupcake after, they sit down, then you run into other issues. So,
Yeah.
There are always other ways of doing that.
Yeah, and dogs are nonverbal animals, so they communicate with other dogs through hand signals. So body language is actually an extremely useful tool.
Very.
And that's another thing, consistency. If, the husband's doing one hand signal and the wife is doing another, and the wife does, an open palm for sit, but the dog thinks that means wait because the dad was doing a closed fist for sit, like,
they will be confused.
Yeah.
It'll be this like up and down.
You're like, I'm so sorry you've been going through this.
Exactly. Well, consistency and patience, truly. That was like my whole MO. I'm curious for your training. Do you teach really like red zone or aggressive dogs as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any behavior or to aggressiveness? I mean, can it be, hey, my dog bit my neighbor 52 times and...
I have a dog that I'm working with right now who is on a quarantine hold for biting 2 people. Okay. And, we're working with them and, the owners and creating new boundaries in the home. Separation anxiety is actually the thing that I steer away from.
Okay.
And it's because of one of those obstacles with consistency and compliance. It's a very, very tedious thing to train that takes a lot of time, energy, and effort, and you need to have a whole team behind you to help with your dog. You're going to need pet sitters, you're going to need dog walkers to give your dog those breaks. And I noticed that a lot of people don't have the patience to do what they need to do to help their dog. And I don't have a lot of experience with it. Mm-hmm. So I rather refer this dog out to somebody who does have a lot of experience and know what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's not the money for me. It's the success for the dog. So if it's something that I'm not comfortable with or that I don't have enough experience with and I want to pass them along, then I will. And then I'll go shadow and I'll see what they're doing. So that way I can learn and get that experience. So I have yet to turn away a dog because of reactivity or aggression, though. I actually love working with dogs like that. It's besides puppies, that's my other favorite because it's just so wonderful to see them change and come around. And a lot of these dogs are about to be rehomed because of their behavior issues. So it's really nice to see that they're going to be able to stay in their home. And a lot of times too with these situations, maybe we can't completely turn them 100% around, but we can teach the humans how to manage it better. So that way it's easier and get the dog to a point where, they're more calm around certain situations and what to look out for with your dog so you can get ahead of it before it turns into a big blow up. So I love working with those dogs.
I agree. I like that you talk about kind of getting ahead of it before it becomes a problem. I always think so. I did the shelter training before. Well, I was a couple years into it, and they're so cute when they're little and they're jumping. It's adorable. I'm like, just wait, because they're going to grow. I get that it's a Great Dane puppy right now, but that thing is now going to be 150 pounds jumping on you. Yeah. So to get ahead of it is super important to try and correct and do the positive reinforcement with the hand signals. And I actually tried to put in, when people came in adopted, a full sheet of just to let you know this is what is ahead of you. Yeah. Because it really is not, oh my goodness, it's so fluffy and my 6-year-old wants a dog. I'm like, and you have to train, you have to feed, and here are all the precautions that you have to do and crate training, etc. So yes, please go out, get a dog, adopt, breed, whatever you need to do. And just educate yourself too. Yeah. I think a lot of people maybe don't know what breed matches them too. Yes. I think it's to know your lifestyle and get with a trainer. Please get with someone that knows what they're doing. Yeah. That makes such a huge difference in just your relationship with your animals. It doesn't have to be hard or challenging, and it's okay no matter what age and no matter what breed that you can go in and help in that relationship.
Yeah, and it's so important that you do get somebody who knows what they're doing and understands dog psychology and not just how to stop something, because other problems can come out of other methods that people may choose to use. And there's, with this industry, anybody can call themselves a dog trainer. You don't need to be certified. You don't need to be, licensed. There's no regulations with it. And that's when things can get really dangerous, because you're, using a lot of bad methods that can actually, like, it suppresses a dog's behavior. So eventually they're going to blow up, and it's going to become, a 2-year-old having a tantrum that actually gets really dangerous. So you really need somebody who does understand, like, dog science, how dogs learn, and understands the breed, and not just like taking
Completely. I mean, on the flip side, would you want to hire a doctor who has never gone through schooling?
Right.
I mean, it's something similar. If
I
you
think
just
they call that holistic.
Okay. But it's true. Like, being insured, I know he's on his own world today. But it says something, I think, when you are insured and bonded and you are CPR certified and you've gone through the schooling, it makes you very different than some people that haven't gone through the training. Just because you own a dog doesn't make you a dog trainer. And that's coming from me. That's my opinion. And it's true.
I agree completely.
Everyone's like, I can train my own dog. The amount of times that I heard that, I'm like, then why did you call me?
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason we're talking, and it just means that it's to have another set of eyes, to have someone. And a lot of times it's like, I'm a good teacher, but I can't teach my son everything he needs to know. That's what his teacher is for. It's why I send him to his school, so his teacher can teach him math and science and arithmetic and Spanish and all these things. Could I do it? It wouldn't be pretty at the end of the day. It'd be a little messy. So that's why we pay for the experts and the professionals to come in.
Right. Exactly.
At what age is kind of that sweet spot for training a dog, and usually how long is a good time frame for it? I mean, I think you know what I mean, but
yeah. I mean, I think it really depends on what we're talking about. A sweet spot when it comes to the age, I recommend the sooner the better. I don't think there's ever a
so
time
even a
that's
brand
too
new
soon
puppy
to
or
start.
something like that.
Yeah, most people, they are going to get their dogs at 8 weeks old because that's what is required, and that they go through their their first set of vaccines, and they, at 8 weeks, then they're adoptable. If you're going to, a place that is doing what they're supposed to do and not a backyard breeder. If you are going to go to a breeder, go to somebody who knows what they're doing as well.
Reputable,
Right.
please.
But yeah, so I think the sooner the better. I like 6 months because now we have a dog who has a little bit more of an attention span. But when you're working with, 8 weeks to 6 months, we're going to be focusing more on just handling and getting your dog used to getting their paws touched, having their ears touched, having their ears looked inside of, the tail lifting, body being maneuvered specific ways, and just getting them comfortable with stuff like that. So it's going to definitely switch depending on, where they're at with their vaccinations and if they can be out in the world training. But I like 6 months to 8 months because they have a good attention span there. But, not everybody has a dog that they started out with as a puppy.
Right.
Maybe they did get a dog who they either inherited or they adopted, and they have a 2 or 3 year old dog. Behaviors start to set in with dogs around 2 years old.
2 years old.
So
okay.
The sooner we can get on top of those behaviors, the better. But I mean, you can totally teach an old dog new tricks. It may take a little bit longer, but you can do it. Like I was working with it's a pit bull puppy who's 5 years old, or 5 months old, sorry, and then her dog brother is, I think, 9 or 10. And we were training her how to do place, so to go to her bed and sit and wait while we walk up to the door or let somebody in. But her brother wasn't doing it because he didn't know. He's never had any training in his life before, and he kept moving. And she's like, I want to go. I want to go see what he's doing. And I'm like, okay, we got to kind of get him to at least stay by her. And he picked it up really, really fast. I was really impressed with this 10-year-old dog who's never done anything like that before in his life. And, his sister was doing it, so he wanted to follow her. I like it when dogs can learn off of each other. That really pushes it kind of a long way, too. But yeah, and then time span as training, that's where I think it depends what you're working with. Are we just teaching your dog basic obedience? That may take 4 weeks. That may take 8 weeks, depending on, if you're doing things. Again, consistency and patience. Like so my training is going to your home. If you're only doing training when I'm there once a week,
It's going to take a long time.
It's going to take longer. Yeah.
Right.
So your training is going to take as long as you want it to. So if you're putting in the effort, if you're putting in the work, you're going to be along faster. And then behavior modification, if we're working on, a dog who has, they're 4 or 5 years old, they're lunging and barking at other dogs, that could take 6 to 8 months of training. And I'm a big believer on no quick fixes. Like there are things out there that you can do the quick fix, but other problems may come out of that because we're going back to suppressing behaviors. So, eventually it gets suppressed so long that they do, when they have a moment when maybe you're not actively paying attention to the dog or actively doing something with the dog, then they just blow up. And then the behavior is even worse than it was when you started the training. So my whole view on training is I'm not going to do the quick fix, but I'm going to do the long-term fix on what's going to be more successful down the line and what's going to actually stick.
Right.
So. You bring up a lot of good points. So for those that what I noticed, and maybe you've seen this, so if you have an 8-week-old puppy and you were training for, let's say, 3 months, and man, that pup knows how to sit, stay, come, leave it, the whole 9 yards. And then age 1.5 comes and they all of a sudden stop knowing how to do the basics. So I found that was super common. So I think when people are listening to this to say, oh my gosh, now I need a trainer again, I just want people to know that you're not alone. That's so incredibly common. They go through their terrible twos in their teenage years, of course, earlier. It's usually around a year or two, and I've been out of the world for a while. So to refresh and have a trainer still come is so important too.
Yeah.
Because dogs will go through different periods of their life, and I remember the look with my own dog. It's like, I know you want me to sit, but how badly do you want me to sit? And I'm like, oh, you stubborn little what.
Yeah.
So then I needed to, get another trainer in there.
Yeah. Well, and then you just brought up a word, stubborn, that I hear all the time that people say. And I like to look at what stage is it? Where's this dog at in their life? Is it 1.5 to 2 years old? What has happened in their life that maybe has changed some things? Where are you asking your dog to sit? Have you only told your dog to sit in the home or in the backyard, and now we're at a park where there's other dogs and people and you're asking your dog to sit? That you're kind of asking a lot out of your dog if you've never practiced it outside of your home before, because now we're adding in distractions. And I think a lot of people need to remember, I'm sorry to say it, but the grass is way more interesting than you. And your dog may love you, but the moment they smell grass, they're like, this.
Or another dog or a child or a squirrel or a bird, you are no longer important.
Yep. Yeah. You mean nothing.
So true.
So we got to start working with distractions and slowly adding things in, for bunny training. I'm this close, which honestly, I might do this tonight. I'm about to buy a little remote controlled car and put a stuffed bunny on top of it. So we could start training with a bunny, moving around and start working, because that's so unpredictable when you're going to see a bunny or squirrel, and you go through a whole winter without seeing it. So it can be year long. And there's just ways to get creative with dog training, and it is a lifelong thing.
For sure.
No, you don't need to be doing these structured training lessons all the time for the whole dog's life, but you do need to upkeep it, because it's like a language. If you're not using it, they're going to lose it.
Completely.
And same with you. You may forget, this is what I'm supposed to do in this situation. So.
Right. Completely. I had someone actually text in and ask, and we had talked about this a little bit off air, but for certain products that you would recommend as far as leashes or harnesses, I know there were 2 harnesses that you recommend for either those that pull or can get out of their harness.
Yeah.
What are those 2 that you recommend?
The 2 Hounds Freedom Design harness and the Easy Walk harness. The reason why I like those is because both of them have a chest clip, and you can guide the dog from the chest instead of their back. So I don't know if anybody out there has seen the head halters that go around the dog's muzzle. So it's kind of similar, but it's taking that strain off of their head. Because if they see a bunny and they pull one way, it can be a really bad situation for the dog's neck. So, but the head halt or the chest clip, I like that because you can guide the dog one way or the other. And then they're just nylon straps. So it actually fits more snug to the dog, and you can tighten it how you need to. The fabric harnesses, I see dogs slip out of those all the time because they're really loose. The dog figures out how to back out of it. Both the Easy Walk and 2 Hounds Freedom Design harness, they have an attachment on there. It's called a martingale attachment, and basically, if the dog like moves a certain way, it's actually going to tighten on their body so they can't back out of it. So those are my 2.
I love it. And for those, I believe you can get them on Amazon. You can get them at most pet stores. They do come in different sizes as well. So hang on to your receipt is what I always recommend.
Yeah.
Just in case like you buy a large and you really needed a small, or vice versa, then you can return, refund, and get the right one.
Yeah.
Especially if you can bring your dog in, awesome. Please do that. But if you're ordering online, that's not always the case.
I think the Easy Walk harness is the one. I'm like 98% positive it may be the 2 Hounds, but one of those comes in a small / medium / large. So if you have like a dog that's growing, great option to get that one because you can size it all the way down to a small or all the way up to a medium.
Perfect.
So, I mean, if you have a Great Dane, you're going to go through both of those
Because
they're going to be small and then they're going to get to extra large. So you're going to need to save your receipt.
Same thing with crates. Same thing with toys.
Yes.
One other thing. Do you recommend sorry, I could geek out on this all day. For toys, especially like I used to love the Kongs. Do you love those? I don't know if they're still.
Yeah, Kongs. There's food topples, which is similar to a Kong. I think they're great, especially if you're, working with leaving your dog alone for longer periods of time. It's just something to give them to do, and this is going to get more into separation anxiety training, but if you have a Velcro dog that follows you around your house and you need to get them comfortable to be away from you for at least 2 minutes, put them in a room with a Kong and just go to the bathroom or the kitchen or upstairs and then come back down to see your dog, and hopefully they're still chewing on that Kong. If they're not, then we have a bigger problem on our hand with separation anxiety, and we need to start somewhere else. But yeah, that's what I like those crate training. If you're working on crate training, you need them to occupy themselves on something for a long time. For puppies, if they're teething, I think it's good. Just put it in the freezer because it's going to help numb that teething pain in their mouth. So you're kind of helping them with that. You can do a washcloth and chicken broth and put that in the freezer, or beef broth or bone broth. And then the dog can suckle on that to help with some teething pain. So yeah, no, I think they're great.
Yeah, it's nice. No, I love the freezer option. I always loved that, especially if you leave in the morning and you have the dog walker. If you have Shay and her team come in to go get them from the freezer, and they have peanut butter, even some kibble if weight is becoming an issue, if there's a lot of treats going on, because that happens. One other thing with toys, what I saw with Kongs, make sure that it's the appropriate size. If your dog is, let's say, a Great Dane, for example, and you have a really small Kong toy, then their tongue can get stuck. So just make sure you get the correct size of toys to make sure that the dogs are safe.
Yeah.
And for leashes, do you have a preference on retractable nylon rope? Is there one that is your go-to?
I don't like retractable leashes.
I don't either. They're terrible. Go throw it away if you own one. Again, my opinion.
There's so many problems that could come with a retractable leash.
Are those ones where you push a button in and it suddenly stops?
Locks?
Yes.
Yeah. Like that. If you have a strong enough dog and they see a bunny or a squirrel and they yank, it's gonna break. I've seen people get pulled down because when you have a dog that far away from you, at that point, think about physics. The dog's gonna be more in control,
sprinting.
They sprint. It hits. You're going down.
It's a great way to pull your arm out of your socket. Oh, stop it! I legitly had one, but that's another story.
And then you became a dog trainer.
Maybe that's why. It's all coming full circle.
But yeah, and just I don't. Retractable leashes just leave too much up in the air, and it can actually train other stuff that you weren't expecting to become a problem. So 6 foot standard leashes, just nylon leashes. A rope one is fine, a thick rope one. I mean, I've seen people get rope burns, so those aren't as a handler thing, just be careful. But the nylon 6 foot leashes are great. It's a standard size. You're giving the dog enough length to have a nice loose leash in their walk, but not getting too far, which that's what retractable leash that's when that can become a problem, because the dog is used to being 40 feet away from you. So then you put a dog on a 6-foot leash and now they're pulling because they're used to being 40 feet away.
Yeah.
So, I think it's important to just have, and also when the dog's that far, like you never can predict what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, can't communicate, can't help in a situation. Like if another dog comes running at your dog and they're that far, like you're going to be 40 feet away to be able to get to them. So 6-foot standard leash. That's all you need. You don't need any of the fancy, like 2 leash ones where one clips to the back and then the front. Like there's a lot of fancy leashes out there that, like the bungee leashes, all that. Just, if you train the dog, it doesn't matter what leash you have.
Yeah.
Just do a 6-foot, but not a retractable. That does matter.
Yeah. Great Danes are on my mind. I had a retractable with a Great Dane, and that was the last day I ever had a retractable.
I've seen a lot of really funny reels of stuff like that where the dogs are.
It does. They take off. It's such a flimsy thing, and it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're it's a hot
Yeah,
mess.
I was walking a dog, and this guy who was good 60 feet away, he had the dog on the retractable leash. The dog saw us, came sprinting at us. The leash is so bulky, he didn't have a good hand on it. It dropped, and I should not be laughing at this, but the dog was running, and the whole time he's like looking back at the leash, and the leash is like following him, and he's like scared, but he still wants to get to us. And I was like, this is just a mess. This is a hot mess. Like, come get your... Thankfully, the dog I was walking was like an angel and perfect. But it was a mess. And I'm like, this is why I don't like retractable. One of the reasons why I don't like them.
Completely.
So.
And you are going to more schooling. I want to
Yes.
get into this. This is pretty exciting.
Yeah. I'm going back to Animal Behavior College for service dog training.
Nice.
So that is one thing that I don't train right now. I mean, if you need service dog training, I have wonderful resources and people I can refer people to. But I am starting to get my foot in the water with that.
That's very cool. A lot of people need like therapy and service dog training. So I love that you're doing that. That's just another unique niche that you can offer.
Yeah.
Do you have kind of a deadline? I don't know if that's the right word, but what is your goal for when you might be able to train?
Yeah. So it's a 9-month program.
Okay.
I started the program in, was it June or July? Over the summer. I started the program. So it's been recent. So I should be done around April next year.
Okay.
I did have to actually put my studies on hold because my business is so busy that I wasn't able to do both. And I was like, can we just pause it for a month and then I'll get back into it? So it's a good problem to have, but I want to get it done. But at the same time, I'm again, like I said earlier, if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to refer it to somebody else. So like, it's just not something that I offer right now until I know what I'm doing.
That's what makes you so much different than the hobby sitters. Is what you're talking about right now. Like, you want to be certified. Please, if you want, think about who is in your home. Think about who's teaching your children. This is your heartbeat. It's unconditional love. Make sure you have a professional who knows what they're doing, who's licensed, insured, bonded, the whole 9 yards, and has schooling, because it is animal behavior, which isn't, it didn't come easy for me, and I've owned dogs my whole life. And there was so much stuff that I learned going through this educational piece of it. Yeah. Which is really cool. And I love, would you mind sharing what made you want to get into the service training on the schooling side?
Yeah. So my uncle, he has now passed, but he was basically 100% blind. Like, he could see out of the tiniest little bubble, and all he saw was like some light, and that was it. He couldn't make out faces or anything. And that's what showed me like seeing eye dog. And I thought that was a really cool organization and what they do and how they support things. And, just going through the regular dog training program with ABC, I already like fell in love with how dogs learn and how things can be taught. And then I just, it's so incredible that, we can really train these dogs to do things to help out with somebody's medical needs and, just be another person in their court or dog in their court to help them if they have a medical emergency. And, there's so many things that dogs can do, and it's really, really incredible. And they can sense things that people can't, and stop something before it happens. So like a seizure and alerting to somebody when that's about to happen, or, if it's somebody who is in a wheelchair and they need assistance with that wheelchair, if it's pulling it or pushing it. And then the other thing is making sure that you have the right dog for it. So, if you need medical assistance, maybe you have this perfect vision of what dog you want, but that breed might not actually be a good fit for what you're looking for because of their size or their abilities to do certain things. So having those tough conversations with people is really important, but finding them the right breed as well for what they're looking for. So I just think it's going to be a really, really fun
I'm
journey.
excited for you. I went more the therapy route for my son. It took me 2 years to train my golden, who already knew basic training. 2 years on therapy because it really, and I hired a trainer because this was out of my wheelhouse. And still to this day, when she put on the harness, I mean, she's since passed, but her butt would just vibrate on the floor because she knew she wanted to go jump so badly. It took 2 years for her to be in a hospital environment. So she wanted to love so badly. And I'm like, dude, it took me 2 years.
You said golden retriever
golden
too?
retriever, yes. Yeah. I mean, oh, God love
they're
them.
Just so, they're so
just
lovey and energetic.
Exactly.
No.
It was hard, but
But it takes 2 years to train a service dog. And that's something where, a lot of people think like, how long, I get that question all the time, like, how long is this going to take? And, I hate answering that question because I'm like, it's going to take as long as it's going to.
True, and every breeding scenario is totally different. I mean, a dog can be trained pretty well in a month, and some takes multiple years. So it totally depends on every scenario.
And you said it great earlier. It depends on how long you want it to take.
Exactly.
If you're consistent, if you're doing
Take
it
10 minutes a day.
Right.
Before you go to work. I know when you're coming home, you want to relax. That's great. And it can be something fun. If you have kiddos, go take the dog for a walk and teach the kids something, or have that little date night moment with your partner and go take the dog for a walk and work on training together. So it can be something really fun and not a chore. So I think a lot of times they're like, oh, we have to go train, Fluffy tonight. And I'm like, but it can be fun.
Yeah, it can be really fun. And there's other ways that you can do training that's not so physical, like taking the dog on the walk. If we're working on just getting your dog to be okay being in public and seeing distractions and seeing people, just go to a park and have a picnic with your family and just people watch. Your dog literally just needs to people watch. And if they're able to look at people from 50 feet away, say their name, can Fido listen when you say his name? Okay, give him the treat. And, you're working on stuff like that. It doesn't need to be like this whole thing. Like, if you have a puppy, go to Home Depot or Lowe's and put your puppy in the shopping cart and just let him watch people go in and out and get your dog comfortable with that. That's socialization. A lot of people think socialization is your dog going and playing with other dogs or being around people. But, it's being out in the world around distractions. That's what socialization is.
Completely. Well, Shay, thank you so much. It's allowed me to really
geek out.
Geek out and be back in this world. I mean, I absolutely loved it, and it's so rewarding in so many ways. I mean, to watch a dog go from not knowing something to knowing something, and then watching the family bond and grow together with their animal and their pet is really special.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, we're going to go over your, I know we're close on time, go over the service areas again for those that may be tuned in a little bit late.
Yeah. We service Aurora, Parker, Lone Tree, Highlands Ranch, Centennial, Greenwood Village. Did I say Inglewood? Inglewood and Centennial kind of fall in the middle of all of those service areas. So, and if you're not sure, just reach out and I'll check your address compared to where where our sitters are. We have 4 sitters in different areas, so they can help out as needed. All of our sitters are W-2 employees. They're all Pet First Aid and CPR certified. So, you're working with not your hobby sitters. I hate to say it, but not your Rover or WAG sitters. Like, this is a reputable company that is insured and bonded, and we know what we're doing. So there are some great Rover and WAG sitters out there. Just vet them if you're going to use them like any other pet care provider.
Of course. These are your heartbeats. I mean, only get the best. Shay is the best. Again, Shay is owner of Care for Pawz. care for FUR, Pawz, PAWZ.com, and 720-500-7299. Definitely text, call, see if she's in your area. For those that need the lunchtime visits that are going on vacation, Thanksgiving is going to be here before you know it. And ski season is here. If you have a heartbeat at home, again, this is my opinion. This has nothing to do with Shay. Please don't leave your dog for more than 8 hours at a time, and even less would be great. Even if you have a dog door. I have a lot of people that are like, we have a dog door and we're going to be gone for 12 hours. I'm like, do you know what your dog could do in the amount of time in 12 hours?
Yeah.
Like, holy hot potatoes. Have someone come and check on your animals. Cats included in that. You do exotic animals as well. So your spiders and your snakes and tigers and bears, oh my. So, no really farm animals. No really big farm animals, but.
Yeah. All the small animals in your household, cats and dogs. If you have chickens or ducks in your backyard, we can do that. If it's in your house, we can do it.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I agree with your opinion with the whole 8 hours. Like, I get anxious if I'm not there. Like, if you have a doggy door and you want us to check on your dog at AM and PM and it's 12 hours apart, I'm like, what is happening during the middle of the day? Like, did they jump the fence? Did they dig under the fence? Did they, did a wild animal get into their house and now they're fending off a raccoon? Like, what is happening?
Exactly. And plus, it's good to have someone come check in. Like, I think a lot of people, like, you are your pet's entire world. And when you're not there, they're missing you. And so have someone come, and man, that was the best part of I loved it. I would come and, I love it when the cleaning team was there once, and they're like, they don't do that when I come. I'm like, I give them treats and we go outside and play. So like,
I'm the fun person.
And they love seeing me. So
yeah,
give your dog a gift, because gosh darn it, they love you unconditionally, and have someone come in and play with your love bug.
Yes.
Shay, you're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'm happy we can geek out anytime.
Thank you. I so appreciate it. It's been a hot minute. Yeah, you're our first dog trainer, so thank you for being here.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You got to geek out with her more often.
I do.
Definitely.
It's so fun.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Check it out. Careforpawz.com. CAREFURPAWZ.com. 720-500-7299. We're going to get you back to all of your wonderful Colorado artists. Big melting pot of all genres, which is going on until midnight tomorrow night. So another solid day and all through the night of only your Colorado to celebrate the 2-year anniversary of K4CO Radio. You guys take care. Have an amazing Thursday night. Thanks for tuning in.